Hey and welcome everybody, my name's Aram and there was a question on YouTube concerning lactate test. Standard procedure is to do a lactate test and you get results. And the question is what to do with these results until you have the next lactate test. First of all, we have to get a few things right. The standard protocol for lactate testing is usually 4 minutes, maximum 5 minutes, one level. So you hold a certain wattage or you hold a certain speed for 45 minutes. Why? Because we think that after 45 minutes you reach a lactate steady state. First myth, that's not true. Usually you reach a lactate steady state after around 10 minutes, not after 45 minutes. So generally we have to be careful with the results we get. Next thing, if we then get a result and say, okay, at 4 or 5 or 6 different levels you rode at, or you ran at, or you rode in a boat, or you did an erg, or you were in a bi-rower, you then get a calculated result. And that calculated result may well tell you, all right, if you want to do steady state, you have to do this and that pace. Now, steady state can be anything. So steady state just means you stay steady at a certain state, at a certain intensity. We have to understand what we do. So I recommend to have a precise look at the raw data. So the raw data should tell you, let's say you did 150 watts and your result was 1 millimole of lactate. And then you did 180 watts. Usually we have 20 to 30 watts increments. You did 180 watts and the result was 1.4. You did 200 watts, the result was 1.7. So in the end, the results you usually get are 2 millimole is 230 watts, 4 millimole is, let's say, 260 watts. And then they tell you just stay a bit below the 2 millimole, stay a bit below the 4 millimole, and do this for the next 6 to 12 weeks, and this is how you improve. You don't improve. You improve at a pace that is so slow. You take 2 lifespans just to get better. The quickest way to improve, and I talk about this a lot in the seminars I do, is to have variations. So I would have a precise look at what the raw data was, and then I would play around. Let's say, give an example. You have 150 watts, 1 millimole. You have 180 watts, 1.5 millimole. You have 210 watts, 2 millimole. Then I'd play around with these 3 levels, just a steady state. When they tell you your low steady state, in Great Britain I think it's UT2, there are various names for this, then I would do variations. So we at my coaching, when I write training plans for my athletes, be it juniors, masters, Olympians, under 23s, A-level, whatever you are, there's always a variation. So we actually have dedicated states for regenerative pace, about 1 to 1.3 millimole. We have U, which is 1.5. We have M, which is 1.7, 1 to an 8. And we have O, which is 2 millimole, 1.9 to 2.1. So if you don't have these levels, you play around. So you had 150 watts, 180 watts, 210. So I suggest if you have a 60-minute steady state, to do the first 20 minutes easy. If you had a hard session the day before, let's say at 150 watts, then you go to 210 to be spot on the 2 millimole. Then you go to 180, just training in that 1 to 2 millimole area. Why? There's a clear reason. If you only if you say, all right, 2 millimole, this is where my long steady state should be, is 210 watts. Why not do 210 watts all the time? Because in reality, you're nowhere near the 210 watts after 10 minutes, 2 millimole. Probably if you did 210 watts now, let's say a couple days after your lactate test, and you had 210 watts for 20 minutes, you're probably right around 3 millimole to 4 millimole. And that's a natural process. The reason why this is the case is because these test intervals are too short. This is why I talked about it right at the beginning of this video. So this variation teaches your body to be able to do the watts that were the result of the lactate test. See, I think the best lactate test I ever had was when I was under 23, lightweight. It was winter time. I had 383 watts or 387. I don't know if it was 383 or 387. That's quite decent for a lightweight under 23. And it was my 4 millimole threshold. And I still couldn't do the 300, not even 380 watts straight. It was not possible. So the way to approach this is to start off with something that's below, that's right on spot, that's a bit on top of it. Now, I haven't talked about how to do the training above 2 millimole. Just so much in this quick answer right now. I do separation, so I don't just do 2 millimole training, so your 210 watts. I also would like to know where your 3 millimole level actually is. And then I schedule at least half an hour to 40 minutes of 3 millimole training as a total per week. The good athletes usually do 1 to 1.5 hours at this stage. But it takes time, you know. It's not like you start off with this because the good ones are doing it. So I suggest to do at least 1 or 2 sessions with 2 10-minute intervals of 3 millimole wattage. So this might be around 240 watts for 10 minutes. Generally, I work a lot with lactate in training, but lactate is a tricky factor. But I'm going to talk about this in seminars and maybe in a different video. So I hope this answers your question a bit. So to sum it up again once more, you want to stick to the values, but you want to do variations, always with variations. So you want to stay a bit below, you want to stay right on top, right on spot, and then you want to go a bit above it. And these variations you can carry on until the next lactate test. All right, guys, if you have not already subscribed, now is a good time to do it. I wish you a very good day. I'm looking forward to see you soon. Bye-bye.